by Adam, who was there for backup. "Listen here, you little punk," Russell said, trying to loom over the 10-year-old. "I'm not Casper. I'm a sophisticated man about town." "Who are you, his girlfriend?" Bronson retorted, gesturing to Adam. "You're pretty enough. What'd you use in your hair? 2 cans of mousse? Or do you keep your makeup in your lotion?" "It's a dime-sized dollop of gel," Russell shouted. "The recommended amount." The confrontation ended in disaster when Miss O'Brien walked over. "Russell, what is the matter with you? He's just a child." "He started it," Russell pointed an accusing finger. "I think you should leave," she said, her voice dripping with disappointment, "and see a doctor. You may have hepatitis." Adam stood there, his long lashes fluttering in the afternoon sun, realizing that being rugged was a lot harder than Jeff made it look. Chapter 6: The Irregularities of Commitment. Jeff Bingham was a man who lived for the hookup. Not the romantic kind, Russell had that covered, but the industrial kind. A buddy of his worked at a sports apparel warehouse downtown, and Jeff often returned from these pilgrimages bearing gifts of questionable quality. "Check it out," Jeff said, tossing a heavy bundle onto Adam's lap. "Freebies." Adam unwrapped the plastic to find a hooded sweatshirt. It was a deep navy blue, thick and promising. "Thanks, Jeff. This looks great." "Might be slightly irregular," Jeff warned. Adam tried to pull the sweatshirt over his head. He pulled. He strained. His face turned a deep shade of purple. "Jeff, there's no head hole." "Yeah, that's the irregularity," Jeff said, unfazed. "But look at the stitching on the sleeves. Top notch." Audrey watched from the kitchen, shaking her head. "Jeff, the last t-shirt you got from that guy gave you a rash. We spent 3 days wondering if you'd been in a hot tub with several strangers." "We don't know it was the t-shirt," Jeff insisted. This was the rhythm of their lives, a series of slightly irregular moments that formed a surprisingly sturdy whole. Jennifer and Audrey sat on the couch, watching their men struggle with a sweatshirt that lacked a basic anatomical exit. "Do you ever wonder if this is it?" Jennifer asked softly. "Just buying mojito glasses and worrying about checkbooks forever?" Audrey looked at her. "Jen, the longer you're with someone, the big stuff fades away. The drama of the engagement, the fights about the past, it all gets replaced by the small stuff, like Jeff's birthday deal, or the way he can't brush his teeth without one hand down his shorts. It's not exciting, but it's real." Jennifer nodded, looking at the future box she had started with Adam. Inside was the seashell and the wine bottle, but also a new addition, a brand new spatula. "I bought this for him," Jennifer said, "because he was so excited about the waffle maker. Even though Jeff says we'll never use it." "Oh, you'll use it," Audrey smiled. "Once. On a Sunday when you're both too tired to go out, and it will be the best waffle you've ever had because you made it together. Then you'll put the waffle maker in the back of the cabinet and never see it again for 5 years. That's marriage." Chapter 7: The Last Waffle Hole. The engagement glow was beginning to settle into a steady, comfortable hum. Adam and Jennifer were finally getting some sleep, having replaced the Sonia bed with a massive queen-size mattress that Adam had triumphantly dragged in, debt-free. One Saturday morning, the smell of batter filled their kitchen. Adam was hovering over the waffle maker, a look of intense concentration on his face. "What are you doing?" Jennifer asked, leaning against the doorframe. "I'm filling each little waffle hole with syrup," Adam explained, his tongue poking out the corner of his mouth. "Individually," Jennifer laughed. "Adam, that's going to take forever." "Well," he said, looking up at her with those long, pretty lashes Bronson had mocked. "We have the rest of our lives. I've got time." She walked over and kissed his cheek. "Jeff was wrong, you know. There is cake. And there are waffles." Across the hall, the Binghams were engaged in their own ritual. Jeff was staring at a box of apple pie he'd bought for breakfast. "I thought you'd be fine with it," Jeff said to Audrey. "Apple pie is basically just a flat apple Danish." "You ate the butt pie, Jeff," Audrey said, pointing to the crust on his face. "I saw you. It was paid for," Jeff defended. They looked at each other, one couple at the beginning of the road, the other well-traveled and a bit dusty from the journey. They were neighbors, friends, and mirrors of each other's futures and pasts. In the city that never sleeps, they had found a way to dream. Not the big, cinematic dreams of movies, but the small, slightly irregular dreams of everyday life. The kind that involved balanced-ish checkbooks, birthday deals, and the knowledge that no matter how many ghosts were in the mattress, there was always room for one more seashell in the box. Chapter 8: The Fountain of Youth, or Lack Thereof. The aftermath of Audrey's challenge lingered in the air like the smell of cheap cologne. Jeff was determined. He had a mission. He was going to prove that he was still the same alpha male who could command the attention of a room, or at least a 24-year-old. "You're pathetic," Russell said, watching Jeff adjust his shirt in the mirror of the diner. "You're trying too hard. You look like a dad who's about to ask his daughter if she's heard of this new band called Led Zeppelin." "I'm wearing all-over body spray, Russell," Jeff countered. "It came in the newspaper. I'm sharp. I'm dangerous." Jeff's attempt at the bar had been a comedy of errors. He'd tried to lie about his dead wife to gain sympathy, only to realize he had no follow-up story. He'd met Beth, a young woman who liked his shirt, but the moment he mentioned my wife bought it, the illusion shattered. He was a married man, wearing a suit of lies. Russell, on the other hand, was living his own version of Peter Pan. He had started dating Danny, a 24-year-old lifeguard. "She still does homework, Jeff," Russell whispered in the corner of the diner. "It's fantastic. We talk about... well, we don't really talk. She counts her shrimp before she puts them in the fridge." I counted them too. 2 were gone. "Who ate the shrimp, Russell?" Jeff asked, bored. "Her roommate, a vegan who drinks soy milk. Danny grew up in Cleveland. They eat hot dogs there. It's a simpler life." Russell's obsession with youth was a mirror to Jeff's fear of aging. They were both chasing something that was already behind them. For Jeff, the bet with Audrey wasn't about the number, it was about the confirmation. He needed to know that if he took off the ring, he didn't disappear. The bet ended at the bar when Audrey walked in. She had called his bluff, but instead of anger, she offered a bridge. "Want to go back to my place?" she'd asked, playing the stranger. Jeff realized then that the only person he wanted to be attractive to was the woman who already knew he walked around singing Huey Lewis. Chapter 9. The Anatomy of Guilt. The incident with Jennifer and the massage had left Jeff in a state of perpetual anxiety. He felt like a traitor to the Bingham flag. Every time he looked at Audrey, he saw the face of the woman he'd betrayed with a physiological accident. "I bought you diamond earrings," Jeff said one evening, sliding a small box across the table. Audrey opened them, her eyebrows shooting up. "Whoa, these are beautiful. What did you do? Did you kill someone? Or did you finally sell Gizmo for parts?" "Nothing," Jeff lied, his voice a pitch too high. "Just because I love you." "Jeff," Audrey said, setting the box down. "You never do things just because. You feel guilty. Why?" The truth was a heavy burden. Jeff explained that his guilt had made him run out of the apartment, and the earrings were his way of buying back his soul. "You thought I'd be upset that you had a reaction to a professional-grade massage from a friend," Audrey asked. "Jeff, for bachelorette parties, I've seen hairless, oily freaks dance. I was happy to finish what they started. Why would I care about Jennifer?" "Because she's our neighbor!" Jeff shouted. "And she's cute!" "Oh, now she's cute?" Audrey smirked. The tension broke when Jeff realized that Audrey's security wasn't a sign of indifference, it was a sign of total ownership. She knew him too well for him to ever truly escape her, even in his own mind. "Are you going to keep the earrings?" Jeff asked. "Oh yeah," Audrey said, admiring them in the mirror. "Easily the most expensive erection I've ever had." Jeff sighed. "If it makes you feel any better, it happens on bumpy buses on 9th Avenue too." "I know," Audrey replied. "I was actually disappointed when they repaved it." Across the hall, Adam was dealing with his own pretty boy problem. He had taken Jeff's advice and tried to act rugged, even contemplating breaking his own nose to avoid being called Miss America by a 10-year-old. "Don't do it, Adam," Jennifer pleaded. "I like your lashes. They're pretty." "I don't want to be pretty," Adam wailed. "I want to be a bear, like Jeff." But as they sat in the diner, watching Jeff argue over the price of an apple pie, Adam realized that being a bear came with its own set of problems, mostly involving a lot of grunting and a very complicated relationship with checkbooks. Chapter 10. The Horizon of Forever. The wedding was still a hazy date in the distance, but for Adam and Jennifer, the foundation was being laid. One spatula, one seashell, and one head-hole less sweatshirt at a time. They were learning that love wasn't a straight line. It was a series of zigzags, compromises, and occasionally, a physiological response you couldn't control. "Do you think we'll be like them in 12 years?" Adam asked, gesturing toward the Bingham's apartment. Jennifer looked at the future box on their shelf. "I hope so. I hope we still have enough passion to fight about a bike and enough sense to buy each other earrings when we feel guilty. Jeff and Audrey sat on their balcony, looking out over the city. They were the veterans of the engagement wars, scarred but still standing. They knew the rules, even the unwritten ones that changed every day. "Happy birthday, Jeff," Audrey said, leaning her head on his shoulder. "Is the deal still on?"